So, just treat people with respect, and most of us are pretty understanding because we have to deal with this a lot. So, and we'll understand that it'll take you time, especially if you're not used to it, you're learning. Um, but as long as you're making a genuine effort to understand, then that's all we ask for. And for some people, they're fine with their voice. They don't feel like they have to change it. You know, they may, and I'm just not one of those people. So for me, voice is like the most important thing. For other people, it's the least important thing. But there's a lot of variety within the transgender community. And just to go on a slight sidetrack, not everyone gets reassignment surgery either. Like, I don't plan on having any surgeries. For other people, it's the most important thing for them. So even within the community that we have, there's a lot of variety, and people are as diverse in this community as they are in life in general. So counseling is pretty important because one of the hardest things I'm going to have to go through, since I'm not out at work and to my family, is actually telling them, especially my parents. And dealing with that, based on whatever religious beliefs they might have, it might be very difficult for them. So a counselor is really helping me find a way to, because it's taken me a long time to figure this stuff out for myself. It's going to take them a long time to understand. And I have to be able to sort of counsel them through the process. So that's part of the reason why counseling is important. Also because if I want to start hormones, I need the counselor to approve that, and that's part of the process. I was also going to say that going back to terminology, there's an idea of stealth, and for instance, my transness is kind of stealth in that my family and my job doesn't know, and I wouldn't want them to know until I'm ready. So you have to respect those boundaries. And then there's people who have fully transitioned and are living full time who maybe don't want everyone to know about their past, and you have to respect their privacy in that way, not, because, there's people who fully transitioned who sort of break away from the community and won't even acknowledge that they're still transgendered if you ask them, unless you're very close friends. So that's just the idea of stealth, that you have to, it's basically an idea of privacy. Just so you know, that was not Barack Obama calling me, that was just my ringtone.
I didn't want to work for him. Well done.
Most of the doubts I had at first was, how could I be a woman if I have this male body? Even though I didn't feel as my body was that masculine, it still was very obvious. And I think our society is set up in a very male-centric mode, so that, not to get too Freudian, but it's very like penis-centric. So if you see somebody who's completely female but they have that thing, then they're still male. Whereas if you see somebody who's very masculine, but they see it as a lack of a penis rather than, it's always centered around that thing. So, and we all start off as female, and then eventually the Y chromosome kicks in and we become males, but sometimes things don't always go the way they're supposed to. Because nature has a lot of diversity, and it's not like, you know how things are. Things can be kind of chaotic in the world. So, but after I got over my own struggle with, is this really right for me? The big doubts I had was just dealing with other people. And are people going to believe me? Are they going to accept this? Is this going to be like, am I going to have to fight people out all the way along? And so far, things have been pretty good. I still have the hardest part to get through with the family, but think, once you decide after a long period of self-discovery that this is right for you, then it's just dealing with that society which sees things as very black and white, and you have to be this way or that way. And that's where I would like to say I'm done with transition when I go full-time, which means living, there's no part of my life where I'm still behaving as I did as the male, which is, right now, seems like far away, but I think a year is my goal. It's going to take maybe 2 years, but that's pretty fast. So I have, again, since surgery is not a part of that for me, it might be in the future, but that would extend it out even further as far as the transition process. And then after I'm living full-time, it's just going to be, maybe tweaking the voice a bit if I feel like, once I start using the voice all the time too, it's going to be, my old voice is going to kind of, like a muscle you don't use too much, it's going to get weak and it's going to go away. And so when, after years of using a higher pitched voice, people will struggle to be able to replicate their old voice. But yeah, I think changing your name, going full time, that is the transition. The rest of it is, just seeing the type of struggles I had in relationships kind of made me feel like it was a kind of a two-way street, because when you're in a relationship, you can talk about these things, but it can really, a romantic relationship, if you try to do it in the middle of it, like after my latest relationship failed and I told my ex about it, it was, even though we had been split up for a while, it was like a roller coaster. It was bad, then good, and bad. And she would always say, like, I thought you were just joking about this, and so, in one sense, the fact that my relationships were not working out because I was not being true to myself was a signal that I need to transition, but at the same time, when you're with somebody and you love them, you don't want to, ruin that. So it was shortly after my latest breakup that this happened. I don't think that was necessarily a coincidence. I think I would have dragged it on potentially further if that relationship had continued, just because I'd be more focused on her and, that whole process. So I don't know. I don't know people who have transitioned with a relationship, but it can be, she says she still loves me either way, so I think in that way it transcends the love transcends, the gender role, but it can be difficult for them. It's a dream we all have from childhood, but it's one of those things that you just wish God is gonna, change everything, and you won't have, change your past, and you'll just magically wake up. But as far as actually doing it, it's nothing like a magic pill that just, it's a very difficult process to start on, because it's not going to be a total transformation the way you wish it would be, but for most of us it's a lot better. I haven't come out at work, so that's something I still have to go through, but I know that they have part of their community is an LBGT or GLBT. They do have support for that, and even though they don't specifically say there's no discrimination based on gender identity, I feel like, being that it's a very large company, that they're going to be as careful as they can be. So I think the bigger issue would just be how my relationships with my coworkers will change, if at all.